There's no death penalty in Paris. There's no death penalty throughout France. There's no death penalty in Germany. There's no death penalty in most of the developed European nations. Maybe all. I gotta do some research on that. But state to state, we've got the death penalty here federally for the entire country. We've got the death penalty here. 2019, Donald Trump, actually, his administration on his way out executed 13 people, mostly black people, mostly black men. 13 fathers, 13 sons, 13 uncles, brothers. Most people incarcerated are parents. We don't talk about that all the time. We don't talk about families. We don't talk about people as people. We talk about prisoners. We talk about criminals. We talk about murderers. We talk about rapists. We talk about the terrible, heinous crimes that are unforgivable, that we can never, ever forgive. We can't allow for these people to ever be free, to ever be citizens, to ever be allowed to be here anymore. We gotta get rid of them. But we don't get rid of the workers that are trained to serve and protect the people who are supposed to be policing, the people with badges, the people that make the most egregious, disgusting mistakes and take lives. I believe that it would be a deterrent if this officer in Illinois, where they don't have a death penalty, but like I said, here in America we have a federal death penalty. So if this man who had premeditated this murder, he came in her house and he said, go get that pot of boiling water off the stove, and then killed her, if he were found guilty, and we all saw that he is guilty, we all saw that on the video, if he actually had to pay with his death, that could be a major deterrent. And everyone knows the case now, almost. I asked a girl yesterday about Sonya Massey on my block, and she didn't know who she was. I was trying to get her perspective, but she didn't. I don't know how that happens, but we're in these tunnels a lot of times. Folks have their own they have their own regimen of what it is that they see. And if you got a bunch of kids, if you got a bunch of responsibilities, you got a bunch of work to do to take care of them, maybe you aren't as tuned in, as engaged as I am. But resilience is the difference between a dead bird and a phoenix. Resistance, knowledge, hope, and determination is the difference between the complete genocide of black, brown, and red people here before the destroyer came. All of us flying in a perfect V of different colors. The Olympics started in Paris today, or a couple days ago now, night before last, Seine River. And I think that's amazing that it's completely green this year, that all the power is coming from renewable energy. It's actually windmills off the coast of the beaches of Normandy. There's windmills, a whole farm of windmills out there that are powering the Olympic Games, and I think that should get more attention. We know that the carbon in the atmosphere is what is responsible for climate change and all the pain that we have, all the devastation, the sea level rise, all that is because of decisions that are made, and smart decisions like these by the folks that have the money, have the ability to do the right thing. More of that needs to happen in more places every day. And the fact that it's sustained, its power that is going to continue to come from those windmill farms, it's power that's going to continue to come from the solar panels that they have out there. It's not just something that's just for these games. It's even more of a reason to celebrate. That's another victory for France. France isn't a perfect nation. We know about Haiti having to pay France reparations for their own revolution. Haiti had to pay reparations to France because their people were free. France took that money and built the Eiffel Tower. They sent us the DuPonts. I'm here in Wilmington, Delaware. DuPonts that started in 1802. Gunpowder, chemicals, every different kind of material that you could think of, Kevlar, Nomex, the firefighters wear, all that comes from DuPont. Now, Gore-Tex, I got some Gore-Tex sneakers over here. I think about when I was a young kid, when I was a child, I would go to the creek and I would catch minnows and tadpoles, and I caught athlete's foot because the sneakers that I wore, we called them kicks back then, I didn't take them off, I didn't take the socks off, and I didn't dry my feet off. So I caught fish with my bare hands, and I caught athlete's foot because I didn't take my sneakers and my socks off. But I mentioned the doctrine of dual sovereignty between the federal government and our state governments, states' rights, states' laws, each state having different rules, regulations. The first bit of marching, the first bit of lobbying, the first bit of protesting that I ever did was actually against the death penalty, because the pastor's daughter, where I started going to church, Mother African Church, worked for Delaware Repeal, which was working to repeal the death penalty, and she told me and she told everybody that the death penalty was racist, which is a fact. And the fact that a white person, especially a white person with a badge, is never going to be killed, or never has been sentenced to murder or sentenced to death, because it is state murder, but they've never been murdered by the state for killing one of us. That is the reason why it continues. That's the reason why they can get away with murder for killing us, because they've been lynching us since before this nation was a nation, and they've been getting away with it for that long. The last person who was killed, an execution, capital punishment, not just a police officer that decides to become an executioner, was Dustin Higgs, who was born in New York, but he committed murder. Well, he was actually the shot caller who told a man who's serving life to kill 3 women. He was killed last by Trump back in 2021. And now there's a moratorium on executions. Merrick Garland put that moratorium in place. But We need justice for Sonya Massey.